My name is Matthew, and why was Jesus crucified?
You want to
You
take
go
it,
ahead.
Ann? I know that's supposed to be a simple and short question. That's a loaded question.
It is, Lynn.
There are two whys that I immediately think of. There's the why in terms of historical practical. So Jesus was crucified because he was an enemy of the state. The ways in which he was stirring up trouble, he was disrupting the order that had been set for the first century. And so he became an enemy to the establishment of the time, in which case there were consequences for that. And then there's obviously the theological reason. Why was Jesus crucified? And pages and pages and books, some of which I'm sure I'll get to read again, detail why it was that Jesus was crucified. I believe it's the church father Athanasius that talks about that Jesus needed to become fully human so that he could assume all of the pain and the brokenness and the sin and the errors, that he could physically take that on his body and lay that over as a sacrifice. We know that Christ is the propitiation, or he stands in the gap between our relationship with God and allows that restoration for us to be returned to right relationship with God. And salvation's the short answer, but Ann, do you want to expound upon salvation as the reason why?
Sure. Just coming back from Israel and walking in the steps and actually going to the place where Jesus overturned the money changers' table, that launched a whole thing with the Jewish people and the Romans, and she's exactly right. He stirred up trouble, and they did not want that because so many people were trying to rise up against the government. But at the very beginning of time, there was always a plan together of redeeming his people. And so he became fully human, and he suffered on the cross and died for us. In the One in the Lord class, they just finished studying a great thing by Max Lucado, and it was called The Gifts of Lent. And you wouldn't think as a crown of thorns as a gift, or the nails as a gift to us. It was a new way of thinking. But one of the things that really impacted that class was that when Jesus was nailed to the cross for us to be crucified, he had a list of everything that we have done. And he chose to watch the nail go in his hand because the list of our sins was right there. And what was interesting is nobody could see it. The very top ones of our sins was covered in blood, and the rest of it was covered by his hand. So the little list of our sins, now that's only an analogy, that's not the truth, but when you think about that he loved you so much that he was willing to die for that list of things that we have done and will continue to do throughout our life. And that's why he was crucified. And that was a great question.